Reincarnation, freeing yourself from the loop. The reason this is the next thing that needs to be known before we begin doing anything is to help you settle into a relaxed place of not having to worry about, am I going to go to heaven or hell, or do I have to come back and live a life again as some form of reward or punishment based on how good a job I did in this lifetime. That's an impossibly biased metric that is unfair and impossible to live up to. So we're going to scrap that idea because it's, one, not biblically accurate, and if you follow any of the sacred texts that have been prominent throughout history across the world, they're all pointing to a fact that you are covered by a form of grace. The reason for that is because, as we discussed in the last chapter, that all things are connected. All things are at their most fundamental observable state. Everything is energetic, self-aware consciousness that is vibrating into the appearance of material reality. That is you, and all is connected. So the part of all being connected means the same source God that put everything into creation is experiencing itself through all of creation. What that means is, literally, you are, at this exact moment, you are the first person point of view that God is experiencing as you're watching this right now. Thank you, God, for being here and letting me chill out with you. The ideas of time being an illusion, the idea of an afterlife or a before life or a next life, all of that has already happened throughout your current life. How many different versions of yourself, how many different versions of your identity and your level of self-awareness have you already experienced? We go through so many spiritual deaths and rebirths in this one lifetime, and you specifically are at the point where you are this close to truly knowing yourself as complete. And I don't mean complete as like a whole person. I mean complete as that there are no more questions to be answered. You can settle into peace and know that you are at all times one with the Creator, and right now you are experiencing the gift of the human life. And I've been asked a few times what I meant by the Akashic Records reference. So again, moving back to that space in the field where you are no longer identifying yourself as a human. Your life story is dissolved entirely. You are just eternity. You are just one with knowing everything as infinite potentiality that could manifest but is yet unmanifest. You are in that space of nothingness that is loudly possible. From this place, if you were to imagine all of the stories that could have and that do and that will exist that you're not living through, that you're not experiencing, but they could exist, that could be considered the Akashic Records. That is the place where anything that you yourself have experienced are recorded for eternity as the moment where God experienced you. And that is what the Akashic Records simply is, where people talk about the notion that there is a record of all knowledge and all history. That is what that is. Anything that has been carried out stays in place. But you were the consciousness that carried it out, and you don't remain fixed anywhere other than the history of what has happened and what could happen remains fixed as a probability. And again, all of that, to summarize, what the main point of chapter 2 is to put you at ease without having to worry about, am I going to heaven or hell? Do I have to die? That is a symbolic term of spiritual death and rebirth that you go through so many times in this lifetime. All you ever will be is alive. And the ideas of wondering about what other people's life is like, effectively, since you are the first person point of view that God is having now, just know that some part of you is also already having all of those other experiences, and you will experience it at some other time as a first person point of view experience for yourself. But for right now, you are a divine choice to be here and to be you and to embrace it, so that Source, original God, Source, the Creator, that is without form, is choosing to be you so that it can journey through life with you and as you and experience everything through you with you.